Hello students, this class is going to be on biological sequence databases. These biological sequence databases, as the name suggests, these are the databases of the molecular sequences. Depending upon the type of sequence included in the database, these biological sequence databases can be of two different types depending upon the type of data. If the data is nucleotide sequences, it is nucleotide sequence database. If the data present is protein sequence, it is protein sequence database. First, let's start with nucleotide sequence databases. There are three primary sequence databases are present, which are the repositories of raw sequence data. These primary sequence databases, they can be accessed freely over World Wide Web. That means from the internet. There are three such primary nucleotide sequence databases are available. One is GenBank. This GenBank is created and maintained by National Center for Biotechnology Information, which is located at USA. The second nucleotide sequence database is nucleotide sequence database. By name itself, it is nucleotide sequence database. This is maintained by EMBL. This EMBL is European Molecular Biology Laboratory. Many times this NSD, it is referred to as EMBL. Though it is the organization which maintains the database name is NSD, but many times it is referred to as EMBL. Similarly, GenBank also sometimes it is referred to as NCBI. The third nucleotide sequence database available is DDBJ. It is a DNA database of Japan, which is there in the country Japan. So these are the three databases which are available for nucleotide sequences. If you look at these three databases, they are regional specific. Say, for example, GenBank, I told you it is established by NCBI, which is located in USA. EMBL is Europe-based. DNA Data Bank of Japan, it is located in Japan. So they are like at different regions. But it doesn't matter, irrespective of the region, anybody discovers a particular new sequence that can be deposited in any one of these three databases, irrespective of the region. Whichever the database you deposit, this sequence will be available in all the three databases. Please make note of this point. If any new sequence is discovered, irrespective of the region, it can be deposited in any one of these three databases. Whichever the database you deposit in, it will be available in all the three databases, because these three databases, they exchange data on daily basis. That is how whichever the database you deposit in, it will be available in all the three databases, as these three databases exchange the data on daily basis. These databases, they do not just contain the sequence. In addition to the sequence, they also contain extensive annotations about the sequence. What are these annotations? Annotations are the comments, related comments about that particular sequence. In other words, we can say annotations are the useful information which is derived from the raw data. So in this databases of sequences, not only just the sequence is represented, it also contains the extensive annotations about that particular sequence. We will look into the more details of the popular nucleotide sequence database, GenBank. As I mentioned earlier, it is created and maintained by NCBI, located in USA. Much of the introductory part of the GenBank file, each entry in GenBank, that is called GenBank file, much of the introductory information or introductory part of the GenBank file, it is self-explanatory. It contains the information like, locus name, the accession number. The accession number is the unique number given to a particular sequence, and it also includes the information like source organism from which the sequence has been derived. Also, it provides information about literature references related to that particular sequence and date of submission. In the next slide, we will look into the details of the GenBank database file. The important section of this GenBank file is the feature table. This feature table, it describes the important or interesting features about that particular sequence. So this is how the GenBank entry looks like. This is just the first portion of the GenBank entry or the file, and many portions of the file are shortened here so that it will be easy to understand. If you look at the GenBank file, it's like a long file with lots of information. Here it is the short form of the GenBank entry, just to explain about what are all the different sections that are present in each GenBank entry. So as I discussed earlier, it has a locus. It says about the name of the gene. This is human BTEB gene, which is a transcription, which codes for a transcription factor or GC-box binding protein. The length of this gene is 4859 base pairs. It is mRNA sequence, and the date of deposition is mentioned here, 7th February 1999. The next part is definition. Here it defines about the sequence human mRNA for GC box binding protein. It is complete coding sequence. Next is the accession number. As I told you, accession number is the unique number given to a particular sequence. Next comes is version. Here version is nothing but the accession number 0.1, 0.2, it goes on like that. This version indicates the number of revisions that had happened to the sequence submission. Next, keywords. The important keywords related to this sequence are given here. In this particular sequence, GC box binding protein, zinc finger are the keywords. Next, source organism, from which organism the sequence had been derived. Here in this case, Homo sapien, germline cDNA to mRNA. The clone from the clone library, it has been derived. The classification of the source organism is given here. Then next part of the file is reference. Any sequence, whatever the study that had been carried out on that particular sequence, all those discoveries would have been published in a particular journal. So it need not be one, there could be many journal publications related to that sequence. All those journal publication details are given in the form of references. So here if you look at this example, reference 1, so all the details related to reference 1 are given here. Reference 2, in reference 2, what are all the details? All these details would have been provided for reference 1 also. So these clever brackets, they indicate the skipped out information. In case of reference 2, the details are given here. If you look at the details, it includes the authors of that particular publication in which the sequence related information has been published, title of the publication, in which journal it has been published, then Medline. In the previous class, we discussed about the different applications of bioinformatics. There we discussed about literature databases. There are databases available for literature. So if it is published in any journal, that literature would have been available in the literature database too. So the related or the identification number of this literature in the database is provided here. Then comment section. In the comment section, it is submitted in so and so date in DDBJ by so and so authors. That information is provided here. Then comes is the features. I mentioned in the previous slide that feature table is very important section of the file. Why? Because it describes the important features of the sequence. So here, if you look at here, the source organism again given in the feature section of the file. It includes the bases from 1 to 4859, and the organism is Homo sapien. Sorry. Organism is Homo sapien. Then database cross-reference is given here with the taxonomical information. Next, moving on to the next section of the file. This is the same file because of the space constraint. A section of it was discussed in the previous slide. This is the next section of the same GenBank file. Then gene information. The gene is from the base 12652 to 1999. Then coding sequence is 12652 to 19999, meaning this is the exon sequence. In this particular example, there are no introns. Say for example, if the gene consists of several exons and they are intervened by introns, in that case, we will mention one exon sequence, comma, then the exon 2, comma, exon 3, it goes on like this. But in this example, there is only one coding sequence which is indicated here. And other details of this sequence, 3 times repeated zinc finger motif is present here. So these are all the details given in the coding sequence information. Then if this sequence is translated to a protein, this will be the protein sequence of this gene. So the protein sequence information is also given here. Then next section is base count. The total number of adenine residues present in this sequence is 1285, and 1111 are the C, 1193 are the G residues, and 1270 are the T residues. So this information is provided in base count section of this file. Next, origin, it is present from Homo sapien chromosome 9, and then the sequence is indicated here. The sequence conventionally it is indicated by single letter base is indicated. I mean, the nucleotides are represented by single letter base, and if you look at the sequence, after 10 bases there is a space. Likewise, it goes on the sequence. After 60 bases provided, the second line starts, and here again the flower brackets are provided, which indicates that the in-between sequence is skipped. Then the last line of the sequence is provided. At the end of the GenBank file, it is terminated with these 2 letters, 2 slashes. It indicates the end of the GenBank file. So this is the GenBank entry for the human gene BTEB. I mean, this portion is the second half portion, whereas the first half portion was discussed in the previous slide. As I told you, some information has been deleted from the file for the sake of the space constraints provided here. I hope you are following. So far, we discussed about nucleotide sequence databases. There are 3 nucleotide sequence databases, GenBank, EMBL, DDBJ. Any new sequence that is discovered in a suitable format, it can be deposited in any one of these 3 databases. Whichever the database you deposit, the sequence will be available in all the 3 databases, because these databases they exchange information on daily basis. So we discussed more details, the detailed parts of the file in case of GenBank file. The other database also, the information will be more or less in the similar fashion. Slightly the format might be different. One more point. Here also in the previous slide, I mean this slide, current slide, the sequence is indicated here, but the thing is there are spaces after 10 bases provided. This is definitely the sequence, nucleotide sequence of this particular gene, but it is not in the FASTA format. But many times we need to provide the gene sequence information or any other DNA sequence in FASTA format. That is the standard input format for many of the bioinformatics software. So I just want you to know what is FASTA format of the sequence. So here, this is a gene which is represented in FASTA format. Human immunodeficiency virus 1 from the isolate C44 DNA for the gene reverse transcriptase. So this is the reverse transcriptase sequence from the HIV virus type 1. So what is the difference between FASTA sequence, otherwise the other format sequence which is represented in the GenBank file? The FASTA sequence is a standard sequence format which follows certain syntax. What is that syntax? It starts with greater than symbol followed by its accession number, then the name of the sequence. Okay, so this information is provided in the first line of the sequence. This is called comment line. The second line, the actual sequence is provided. And here, when the sequence is represented, as we have seen in the previous format, there are no gaps provided in the sequence. It goes on like this up to 60 residues. Then the second line starts and it goes on like that till the last base of the sequence. So this is how the FASTA format of the sequence, in which you need to retrieve the sequences from the databases when you do any analysis using any type of bioinformatics tools. So FASTA is a standard sequence format in which the sequence needs to be provided for most of the bioinformatics tools as an input sequence. So you cannot copy the sequence in the previous format how we have discussed, and you cannot give it as input for the bioinformatics analysis as you do the further analysis. So you have to have the sequence in the FASTA format. Likewise, few more sequence formats are available, standard sequence formats, but the very widely used sequence format is FASTA sequence format. So far, we have discussed about the details of GenBank, which is the nucleotide sequence database. There are also some subsidiary sequence databases available. When the main databases like GenBank, they have vast information. For any such main primary sequence databases, there can be several subsidiary sequence databases available. What is the purpose of these subsidiary sequence databases? These are meant for storing a specific type of information. Say, for example, for GenBank, which is a main database, the subsidiary databases available are DBEST. This DBEST is database of express sequence tags. So the express sequence tag information, specifically it is stored in DBEST, which is a subsidiary sequence database for GenBank. Similarly, another subsidiary sequence database for GenBank is DBSTS. This is database of sequence tagged sites. These sequence tagged sites are specific genomic sequences which can be used as physical markers. So these are the marker sequences. So this type of marker sequence information, that too specifically STS sequences, can be maintained in the form of database, which could be subsidiary database for the main database like GenBank. So two examples of subsidiary sequence databases for GenBank are DBEST and DBSTS, express sequence tags and sequence tag sites. Submission of the sequences. I was mentioning that any new sequence that is discovered, that can be submitted in any one of the three databases what we have discussed. There are software tools available which will support the submission of these sequences to databases. So we have a tool called Webin. It is provided by EMBL database, that means nucleotide sequence database. And another tool available for submission of these sequences is Bankit. It is provided by NCBI. And these two software, Webin, whereas Webin and Bankit, these two software, they can be used to submit the sequences to databases over internet. They are freely accessible over internet, but internet access needs to be available if you want to submit the sequences to the databases by using these tools. Likewise, we also have another standalone software, Sequin. This Sequin is provided by NCBI, and I mentioned that it is standalone software, which means that this can be downloaded, installed, and without the internet access also, this can be used for submission of the sequences to the database. And this Sequin, it supports the submission of sequences to NCBI. So these are the tools available for submission of sequences to different databases. So far we have discussed about databases available for nucleotide sequences, 3 important databases available, and we discussed in detail about the uh, all information which is present in different parts in GenBank database. Why specifically GenBank database we discussed? That is considered to be very user friendly and it is the widely used nucleotide sequence database. Next, coming to the protein sequence database. We have 2 databases to discuss here. There are many databases available for protein sequences, but important protein sequence databases SwissProt and PREMBL databases. These are also repositories for annotated protein sequences. The entry of these databases, they contain large number of annotations, including the feature table, because in the previous slides we discussed that feature table section is very important section of the file. So these protein databases like SwissProt, it also contains large annotations, including feature table before the sequence is represented. And in the SwissProt database, each line, it begins with the 2-letter code and most of these codes are self-explanatory. A few of them are mentioned here. It starts with ID, which means identity of the sequence. The next line starts with AC, which indicates the accession number, DT, date, DE, it indicates the description of the sequence, GN indicates gene name, CC indicate comments about the sequence. Likewise, if there is a symbol like this exclamation mark which is provided with 2 hyphens on both sides, if any line it started with particular code like ID, if it has to be continued to the second line, in that case the continuation lines are indicated by this symbol. The symbol indicates that the first line is continued to the second line also. Other characteristic features of SwissProt entries are DR, which means that it includes the reference for other databases, keywords, and feature table. And it also provides cross references to the relevant entries in the secondary databases. Secondary databases probably we'll be discussing in the later classes. The secondary databases for proteins are ProCyte, PRINTS, and PFAM. So when SwissProt includes the information about one sequence, if there is any relevant information about that sequence which is present in other databases like the secondary databases, it could be ProCyte, PRINTS, PFAM, the cross reference to these databases about this sequence are indicated in the SwissProt information. This SwissProt database, it provides most up-to-date information and it also gives the extensively annotated information on protein sequences. That is why SwissProt is considered to be very important and widely used database for protein sequences. So we will look at one example of SwissProt entry. Whatever we have discussed, all those features can be seen in that example. So look at this example for the same BTEB protein which we discussed in the GenBank entry. The corresponding protein entry is discussed in this SwissProt entry. The first line, it starts with ID, which means the identity. The identity of the protein sequence is BTE1 human. This is the standard sequence. ERT indicates the protein sequence. The length of this sequence is 244 amino acids. Obviously, the protein sequence means it should be the sequence of amino acids. Then the accession number, here it is the unique number given to this protein sequence. Date, several dates are indicated here, DT. Several lines are with the code DT. One date is the created date, last sequence update date, and last annotation update date. These are all the dates given here. DE is the description, transcription factor, BTEB1. This is the basic transcription element. DE continues. Gene name, source organism, Homo sapien. OC is the classification of the organism. OX is the taxonomical reference of the organism. Reference number 1, reference position, And then cross references. RX indicates cross reference. Here the Medline cross reference is given. As we discussed, Medline is the literature database. The literature relevant to this sequence is present with this identification number in the Medline database, and PubMed identification number is also given. As you all know, PubMed is another literature database. RA indicates reference authors, the authors which are involved in publishing this paper. Those authors are indicated. RT is the reference title, reference location in which journal it has been published. Then reference number 2, all the details for the reference number 2 also go on like this. Then comment section provides very important information like the function of the protein, any important elements that are present in the protein. All that information is provided in the comment section. The next portion of the GenBank file, the SwissProt file, the comment section, related information is provided here. Database reference, the cross link to EMBL database. That means the corresponding gene sequence information is provided here. So the cross reference to EMBL database are given here. Then also it has the relevant information in PFAN, PRINTS, SMART. These are all the secondary databases of protein information. All that cross references to these databases relevant to this sequence has been given. Next part of the file is keywords. Relevant keywords are given here. Other keywords are zinc finger, they are metal binding. FT is the feature table. It gives information about interesting features, like it has domains. The domain from 84th amino acid to 116 amino acid, it is acidic domain, which is rich in aspartate, glutamate amino acids. Then another domain is present as zinc finger. Several zinc fingers are present, C2H2 type. All the zinc fingers present are C2H2 type. Then the sequence portion of the file indicates the actual sequence, length and molecular weight of the sequence, and this is the ID. Then the sequence is provided in the single letter amino acid form. The entire sequence here also, after 10 residues of the amino acids, there is a gap. Likewise 60 amino acids, 60 amino acids. Then the next line starts. Likewise the entire sequence is represented, and the end of the file is indicated by putting this symbol, which is 2 slashes. So this is how the information about one protein sequence is explained in the format of SwissProt database, which is a database for protein sequences. Here in FASTA format, one sequence is given as example. This is again reverse transcriptase protein sequence from the human immunodeficiency virus type 1. Here also the FASTA sequence format, it starts with greater than symbol, its accession number, the name of the sequence, and its details are provided in comment line. Then the actual sequence is represented in single letter form of amino acids. The entire sequence without any gaps are represented. As I told you, FASTA sequence format is the standard sequence input format, which is compatible for most of the bioinformatics tools. And this sequence format is different from the previously discussed sequence format at the end of the SwissProt database file. So far we discussed about SwissProt database. SwissProt database is a protein sequence database which includes information. Every line starts with 2-letter code. Most of the codes are self-explanatory. We discussed that. In addition to the sequence, it also provides extensive annotations about the sequence, like its functions, any domains present, any other elements are present. All those informations are provided. It is very user friendly because of its extensive annotations. It is considered to be very popular and widely used database for protein sequences. Other related database is TREMBL. This TREMBL is translated EMBL, another database almost in the same format as of SwissProt database. The entries which are present in TREMBL, they're all derived from translation of all coding sequences from the EMBL, which are not present in the SwissProt. meaning all the coding sequences from EMBL with the complete annotations had been deposited in SwissProt. If there are any coding sequences that are not included in SwissProt with incomplete annotations, they are maintained in TREMBL. Once the further annotations are added for the reliability of data to this TREMBL, these TREMBL entries can be moved to SwissProt, which means that this TREMBL, it acts as supplementary information to the SwissProt database. Last point I have mentioned as database interrogation. All these databases, whatever we discussed so far, it has the information in its standard format. How do we retrieve this data? Though we can use the search engines, we can go to the particular database and the search column we can retrieve the sequence. But if you want to make your search very specific, there are certain database interrogation tools available, like your SRS. SRS is Sequence Retrieval System, and Entrej. This SRS and Entrej are the sequence retrieval tools which can be used for specific retrieval of sequences from the databases. So far we have discussed about nucleotide sequence databases, 3 different databases. GenBank in detail we discussed, then protein sequence databases, SwissProt in detail we discussed, and TREMBL also contains the translated coding sequences from EMBL which are not included in SwissProt. It acts as supplementary information for SwissProt. To retrieve these sequences from the databases, we have also got tools like SRS and Entrej. So this is all I wanted to discuss in this class. We started with biological databases. Biological databases are the databases that contain biological information. If that biological information is the sequence information, we call these databases as sequence databases. In sequence databases, again, depending upon the type of sequences present or the type of data present, nucleotide sequence databases and protein sequence databases. We discussed nucleotide sequence databases, protein sequence databases, 2 databases we discussed. If any more sequence databases are there, a little bit we'll touch upon those protein sequence databases in the next class, and then we'll catch up with the remaining databases which need to be discussed as per the syllabus. All of you, please attend this class. Without fail, attendance is being marked, and if you have any doubts, you can post your doubts in course chart link, which provides the platform for clarifying your doubts. Thank you very much.